I am Claretta Manigo. A few months ago, I had a vision of starting an organization that would actually benefit the city and the community of Marlin, hands-on. Our goal is to work not only at King Street Park. The name of our organization is AIM, A-I-M. And AIM stands for Actively Improving Marlin. The committee members, we chose this name because we felt as though there were so many organizations that were here with the purpose of doing some things to improve Marlin, but really were kind of not getting it done. So they came up with that name, Actively Improving, because we want to get out there and actually do it. And we understand that it all can't be done at one time, but it will take small increments to get this done. The committee members are myself, I am president. Ms. Benicia Washington is the vice president. Peggy Robinson is the secretary. Sonia Hartsfield is the treasurer. Carolyn Lofton is also a committee member. Ms. Esther Johnson, Ms. Belvin Hayes, and Ms. Olivia Hill, and Kathy Burrell. They've all worked diligently, and we've had a lot of input from each one of these committee members about things to do. Well, during our meetings, we thought about King Street Park, and we actually thought it would take $75,000. And that's just on our rough estimates. You know, we did a little research, so we said if we had $75,000, we could actually bring it up to a park that is that is conducive for all. I mean, we could get the little kids over there, small kids, and you could also get older kids as well as whole families over there to enjoy themselves. So we initially thought about putting up a pavilion, and that is phase one. It has been completed, and there's already a cement slab there. We wanted to put a pavilion over there to get people out of the sun and rain during inclement weather. Biggest project would be redoing the whole basketball slab. That would be the biggest endeavor, of which it takes about $45,000. That's the bulk of the money. We also plan to, at some point, put a fence, a good solid fence, a real durable fence around the perimeter of the park so that visitors to the park can't drive up onto it. And so we want that fence. We want to put a volleyball court and just put new swings and playground equipment for the children to play on. Well, first and foremost, everyone on the committee is from Marlin. We're from Marlin, and we have a sense of pride about our community. And I think all of us are fed up with the fact that people have this negative perception of Marlin. And but being from Marlin, we know that there is something good that comes out of this community. And not only that, economically, when we look at King Street Park and where it's located, not really in the south part of Marlin, but it is pretty close. You look at that part of town, and the value of homes in that area is really, really low. And everybody knows that if you put something in the community that is vital and that's positive, it could increase the value of the homes in that community. And of course, many of us live in that community as well. So with it being in the shape that it is now, it's just driving down the value of homes in that area of town. We're starting with King Street Park because you got to start somewhere. And that's where we figured that's most accessible to us, because it is in our community, because it is a public place. I mean, we just decided to start there because you got to start somewhere. So, you know, there were other ideas about where to start, but we felt like this was more feasible because we have access to it in our own community. That's why King Street Park. If you know anything about the history of King Street Park, you know that this whole idea of King Street Park started maybe 20 years ago. It was built on the ground of I believe that was an old warehouse there in that area. And when it was torn down, it was just sitting there, and James Lane came up with the idea to make it a park. And efforts were put into it then. There was a lot of fundraising going on at that particular time, and it became a park. But recently, it has started to be diminished, I guess. It has achieved a bad reputation. And so we just want to keep that dream alive of having a park in our own community. It is important for people to invest in our youth through the park because it will give them something positive to do. This is where a lot of our kids play basketball. Many of them learn to play basketball right over there at King Street Park. They spend their spare time playing at King Street Park and even volleyball. But it's an asset because they can pick up those skills there and then bring them to school and maybe later on, hopefully in life. But it just gives them something positive to do. And that's why it's important for us to just try to change the perception. And I believe people are always saying, well, if you put it up, they're just gonna tear it down. Well, I'm the type of person that if you put it up and they tear it down, we're gonna put it up again. We just gotta we can't give up on the kids. We have to keep trying and trying and trying. And that's what kids want to see. And eventually, they're gonna see that, hey, they do care. And once you put up something positive and they see that it's legit, then they're gonna start taking care of it themselves. I really believe that. I've been working with youth. I have been teaching now for 25 years, but I've been working with youth, I guess, since my oldest child, who's now 31. I've always done things. I like being athletic. I like being outside. I like being around kids. And that passion just comes from the personality that I have. And my personality is one of, I have that go-get-it attitude, and that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna go get it, no matter what it takes. We're gonna get this done. To generate funds for our projects here at King Street Park, we've undertaken the task of just asking citizens of Marlin. We understand that this is a city park. We understand that there should be funds available for us from the city and other government agencies. But we said, hey, we have pride for ourselves. Let's do it ourselves. And so what we've been doing, we've been soliciting from citizens, former citizens and current citizens, to just donate $25 each, every adult. And we said $25 each, we can get this done. If we get $25 from 3,000 people, and I know we have 3,000 people here in Marlin, we can get this done. And believe it or not, but some people I've had my biggest donation now has been $300. But that's where the money is coming from right now. Private citizens making donations. Donations can be made to me by calling 254-275-9602. Preferably, your donation should be made in the form of a check or money order, but I will accept cash. I see King Street as an investment, the King Street Park as an investment in our youth, again, because they can come and hone their skills in basketball, and they can take that back to the school. And so, of course, that leads to our basketball teams doing well, and that kind of generates a lot of school spirit, which eventually leads to the community getting involved and just having a lot of pride in our city and in our schools. But not only that, the King Street Park, we want to make it a place where whole families come out, people of the community come out, and hopefully we can get positive leaders and some of those icons that those kids look up to come out and spend time at the park. We can get ministers to come out and maybe minister to those kids while they're out there, sort of like a big sister, big brother type of program, where the kids, where they can just teach kids about life and try to impart some wisdom onto those kids while they're there and serve as an example. So, of course, we do have people in the community who are ministers, who are social workers, who are just parents. And if we get those people out there to the park to kind of help chaperone the kids while they're out there, man, that would do good, not only for the park, but our whole community. Because, of course, they can take what they learn at the park, positive, back to the schools and home and into the churches and eventually out into the world. So what makes King Street Park different is that if you go to King Street Park, you'll see we have an area, there's an area where the small kids can play. You have swings, slides. There's also an area for the older kids. And what we really want to do is to make a court. That court, the slab is big enough for 2 different courts. So maybe we can have a court for the smaller kids where the goals are lowered, they're modified for the smaller kids. And then we'll have a court for the young adults or older kids to play on. Since we want to make it more conducive for the family, one of the plans is also to build a track, a walking track for exercise around on the inside of the perimeter of the park. So now ladies and men especially can go out and they can actually exercise while their kids are playing at the park, and therefore there's some supervision for their children when they're at the park. I think it's important to know that the reason why I came up with the idea is because the idea came to me at the time we were having our crises here in Marlin. The crises with the schools, when we received the information from TEA that our doors were going to close if we didn't do something different to improve test scores. And also at the time we had this severe water crisis, and it's like being a coach, everywhere you go, you know, you get, well, what's going on down in Marlin? Or the school's going to close, or what's going on with the water? What's going on with Marlin? And it's really embarrassing. And so I want to do something positive. It's not that I have to prove something to people from the outside, but I wanted for people here in Marlin to know that we can do things ourselves, and we don't have to depend on anybody. But just maybe to hopefully bring about pride for the people of Marlin.
Bring about togetherness.
Togetherness, right. So that we can all be on one accord and just work hard. And some people have gotten on board. Some people are still like, it's not going to do any good. But anyway, I'm a positive person, and I'm always trying to find the good in everything and everybody. And I believe where there's a will, there is a way. So I'm not going to stop, and we're going to get this done.